Here we are with the alternative version of this game. This time I will focus more on the Ranger's Guild Hunter, and I read up on the quest, and while there is specifically mentioned that the tower should be at least 6 inches long, the height of the wall isn't mentioned. So therefore I have thought about it being 8 inches tall as in the previous quest with the wall, but this would mean that the Ranger's Guild Hunter would just use his run actions to climb up the wall in the first turn, because he has a speed of 6. Therefore, using the run action in combination with the climbing skill would mean 12 inches. First activation, he would scale up to the half of the second story. Second activation, he would be at the edge of the final story, using his revealing himself, using his ranger class to get on top. Next turn, interact action to find the objective, enabling his 2 party members, who most likely would have to fight only one if it's spawning here. Then they could retreat from the table edge, removing these 2 from the game. And then in the third turn, the ranger would once again, after he had positioned himself at the wall, just get into the shrouded state, climb down the wall in his activation, waiting a turn in the shrouded state where the hostiles can do nothing because they have no interact action, and then leave the turn on the 4th turn. And with all that said, this would be the second way to win this game without any further dice roll. But since I said I will not do any flying shenanigans, I will also not do any climbing shenanigans. So they have to go through the building. And with all that said, I will still start with the Hunter's Guild Ranger. He will use his shrouded state to get 4 inches up to the wall here, exiting here at the second story, using his remaining run action to get here up to this building, so also already at the top. And then let me just switch him out. He will be standing at the top, using just to be ready in the next activation. Now these 2, the Nighttime Priestess, will just walk a little bit over here and convert her second activation point into, where is it? Here's a token, into a mana token, just in case she needs it. And the Slayer Dragoon, just to provide a little bit of security, will just walk up here in front of the Nighttime Priestess. And with all that, I will grab some die. Let me see. The hostiles spawning before the their regeneration of activation points. So where will it? Let us do it the other way around. What will spawn? It's a roll of 13, and a roll of 13 will be 2 gargoyles, and they will be spawning at 10 and 6 to 10. As you can see here, I put on every die up the number. Here's a 1 to 5, and here is 6 to 10. Therefore 2 gargoyles will spawn immediately in front of the remaining 2 party members. So let me just put them up, and then we will start with the hostile turn. As you can see, the Colossus moved around clockwise, and the Golem, seeing through this window, had actually line of sight to a Coalition of Thenion. Therefore it used its 2 activation to run towards the Coalition of Thenion. But the 2 gargoyles that spawned will use the activation to get into contact with the Night Temple Priestess, who is more than 6 inches away. Therefore they have to use the run action in the first turn. But before that, they will be attacked by the Ranger's Guild Hunter, who is basically standing at that corner just high above, and he will shoot at each gargoyle once. Similar, the Slayer Dragoon will activate because she has 2 inches reach, and therefore the gargoyle has to go through her melee range, and she will use also an attack of opportunity, while the Night Temple Priestess most likely she will use her Foresight ability, and she will wait the activation of the gargoyles before she decides if she wants to react or not. Most likely, but we will see, she will be using a dodge activation to use her agility of 14 to evade the claws of the gargoyles. But let's start with this gargoyle. It will activate, and it will use its run activation to get into contact with the Night Temple Priestess. Over here, as I said previously, the Ranger's Guild Hunter, this way, will shoot as soon as the gargoyle is around here. Therefore, 1 die. Accuracy of 14. It's an 11, which is enough. Power of 10. Assassination 1 gives an additional 6, therefore 16. Gargoyle has an armor of 5, 11 or less. It's 13, which is not enough to destroy the gargoyle. Next, the Slayer Dragoon will react. She has a defense value of 8 plus 3 for the Lupus Rex, therefore a total defense value of 11. It's a 2, since she's an assassin. This also means that's a critical hit, therefore the gargoyle's armor is ignored. She has normally a toughness of 3 plus 2 for the Lupus Rex are 14, plus 1 for the Devotion of Tiamat is 15, plus 6 for Assassination 21, plus 3 for the Slayer Rune 24, and with a roll of 10, ignoring the armor, this gargoyle is destroyed with a critical hit. I will just remove it and the remaining activation point. Now, the second gargoyle will activate, and similar to the previous one, we will start off with the Ranger's Guild Hunter. Shooting at it, it's a roll of 6, therefore this is a hit. Let me just try here. And with the 9, this time it is enough to destroy the gargoyle before it even reaches the range of the Slayer Dragoon. Therefore, this could have been a threat, but successfully avoided by the Slayer Dragoon and the Ranger's Guild Hunter. Let me prepare the party's turn, and I'll see you then. Next turn, starting with the Ranger's Guild Hunter, he will spend his first activation to search for the notes, so therefore he received it. I already put down some measures. Next activation, he will use a run action, running 6 inches down the stairs here, arriving at the ground floor, and then using his action to run further 6 inches up to here. This will be his activations, standing close to his allies, and with his allies the Slayer Dragoon will activate. Let's go. She will actually wait a second before she starts. The Night Temple Priestess will activate. Once again, she will take a safety measure and get into the flying state. Moves up to here, and she will enchant the Slayer Dragoon with the, I think, Fiery Fever it is called. Let me just look it up. And it is called the Fiery Fever, yes. Since she's the enchanter, this will succeed without a die roll. Therefore, the Slayer Dragoon has +2 offense and defense. Now she will activate and use a dash action to move up to here and attack the golem with her 2 inches of reach. Since the golem has now way to attack her, it will activate and try to dodge with its agility of 6. The golem, agility of 6, it's a 10, therefore it is unable to dodge. Slayer Dragoon, now a total offense of 19. With a 12, it is enough to hit the golem. As previously, a total power of 24, I think. Let me just recalculate it. As you can see, she gets a lot of buffs. So, toughness is 12. 13, 14, Tiamat 15, Assassination 1, 21, and 3 for the Slayer lands 24. Yes, the golem has an armor of 8, therefore it's a 16 or less. With a 19, she's unable to wound the golem, but it nevertheless is pushed 1 inch back. So basically it would dodge into contact and then is pushed 1 inch back. And now the Slayer Dragoon will activate a second time. And once again, the golem will dodge with a roll of 14. It is unsuccessful. Slayer Dragoon, it's a natural 1. Therefore, once again, Assassin, ignoring the armor, 24 or less, with a roll of 3. That is enough to push the golem once again 1 inch back, giving it 2 wounds. And 2 wounds, that. Something I wanted to say, yes, right. Cleave causes the 2 wounds, and with this, the Night Temple Priestess turn is, and she has, she will try to cast Agony at the golem. Enchanted model must perform an int roll at the beginning of each activation or reaction. On a failed roll, it loses 1 HP and its activation or reaction ends. So, 14 or less, and with a 3, this is enough to put the Agony spell onto the golem. I will just put this token there, and let's once again see what hostile will spawn and where. First of all, what kind of hostile will spawn? It's a 3. A 3 means that it's a single gargoyle, and it will spawn at 11. When here is the 10. 11 to 15 is up to the north, so close to the Ranger Skilled Hunter. Let me put down the miniatures, and then we will go into the hostile's turn. I prepared the hostile turn so far, but I forgot that the Ranger Skilled Hunter is a ranger, and therefore he would be allowed to have moved 6 inches further at the end phase, so therefore he would be around here. But now, let's start with the golem, who will go to the closest enemy if possible, which would be the Slayer Dragoon. And I just noticed that I forgot to prepare the party itself. Let me just put some activation points down. Here we are. It will try to activate, but because of the Agony spell, it has to make an intelligence check of 8 or less. With a 3, it actually managed to do so. Therefore, it will get into contact with the Slayer Dragoon and attack. The Slayer Dragoon will react by using an attack action. She gets a little bit cocky with a defense of 11, boosted by the Fiery Fever spell. I think it is still active, therefore it is from 11 up to 13. So, the golem with 2 attacks, 10 or less. It's an 8 and a 15. Slayer Dragoon with only 1 attack. It's a 9. The 9 is above the 8. Therefore, the Slayer Dragoon wins the confrontation. Power of 24. Minus 8, therefore 16 or less. With a roll of a natural 1, the golem receives 2 additional wounds. And it is destroyed. So let me just remove it from the board. And now, the gargoyle will activate. It will use its run action to get into contact with the Rangers Guild, who will just use a dodge action to cancel the engage state and dodge 3 inches away from here. And in addition to that, let me just check. This is outside of range. Yeah. So next, the gargoyle will activate again. It will get into contact with the Ranger Guild Hunter, who will activate by trying to dodge. Will he dodge? Will he shoot? He will dodge. Just to be sure. Actually, now he will shoot because this will cause a confrontation. So, the gargoyle will attack with other way around. Let me just start with the ranger skill hunter, who will set the lower bar, accuracy of 14. It's a 7. Here we are. The gargoyle to attacks 12 or less. It's a 16 and a 12. The 12 is successful, winning the confrontation against the ranger skill hunter. And with a 14, it has a power of 12. It is unable to wound the ranger's guild hunter. Therefore, they are still in a confrontation. But since the gargoyle didn't manage to wound the ranger's guild hunter, it will not receive any additional activation points. And now we are getting to something which might become interesting. This is why I didn't do that previously. It moves 4 inches. The Colossus moves another 4 inches, and with that, I would rule that it has line of sight. And now it will spend its final activation. Since it is outside of 6 inches, it uses the Taunt ability, and then run using the Trample ability to get as many models as possible in base contact. And with that, it will move 8 inches forward, which is sadly trampling up to here. Not enough, but all models with the line of sight of it, basically the Slayer Dragoon and the Knight Templar Priestess, has to make an intelligence check to not use a reaction. With the Slayer Dragoon, intelligence of 10. With a 7, she's fine. Knight Templar Priestess with an intelligence of 14. With a 2, she's also fine. Therefore, no one has to spend an activation point. And it's the party's turn. I prepare the activation points, and I'll see you then. Getting right into the action, the Slayer Dragoon will activate first. She will use her dash action to walk up to here, really close to her teammate, and attack the gargoyle, who will react by using a dodge action a little bit away so that there's definitely no base-to-base contact. So the gargoyle will dodge towards the Slayer Dragoon. With a 3, it is successful, therefore the Slayer Dragoon needs a critical hit. With 11, this is not the case. The gargoyle dodges in such a way that it will still keep the ranger skill hunter in base contact. Now, next, the Slayer Dragoon will activate once more and attack the gargoyle, who will, since it is this time in base-to-base contact, will respond with an attack on its own. Sorry, it will dodge. It's a gargoyle. So the gargoyle will dodge with a 15. This is not successful. The Slayer Dragoon rolls a 19, which is above her offense of 17. Therefore, the Slayer Dragoon fails to hit the gargoyle, but since she has the hit and retreat ability, she will nevertheless use it, and 9 inches walks from the field, because this is the quest special rule. So this cancels the makes the Slayer Dragoon leave the field. Next, the Ranger's Guild Hunter will activate, use a dodge action, and in the second activation it will also leave the field, and the Knight Templar Priestess will just fly off the field. With this, the party has won a 3rd time this game by not using any climbing shenanigans, just using the infiltrate ability and its fast speed. So let me clear the board this time for real, and please, or if you want, join me in the after action report. So, after action report for the first time of the 4th quest of the Heart of Obsidian campaign. What do I think about it? I think that this quest with the central building and the Colossus patrolling around it and the spawning enemies over time might be challenging, but not for this party. As you saw in the first version, the Night Temple Priestess just had to spend 2 turns to get up the building, receive the notes, and leave the board. Same when the Hunter's Guild Rangers Guild Hunter, this way, just climbed up the wall, get the item, and got out of it. And I think another possible way would have been my Slayer Dragoon, who had the Climbing Expert upgrade with her 18 inches. Yeah, okay, maybe she would have to use 1 or 2 activations more, but she would also be able to mount it, climb up the wall, get on top, get the item, get down, and leave. So basically, this party was very good suited for this mission to accomplish it in an extremely efficient way, without spending too much resources. And even when I had the limitation of not using the walls and had to go through the tower, the Hunter just was able to use its Shrouded and Infiltrate ability to get unnoticed to the tower, climbing up the stairs, getting the item, getting back down, and leaving the field 1 turn later. So basically, the Thenion League is for the quests 3 and 4 very well suited, because it's exactly the playstyle, choosing where to fight, being fast, being mobile, and that was what in my current place, as you can watch in my previous videos, is very much the parts you need to succeed in the 3rd and currently in the 4th quest. So maybe with the upcoming Oni and Goblin tribes, we will see another playstyle who is able to win the 3rd and 4th quest. But so far, I'm looking forward for the final part of the Heart of Obsidian campaign, the part 5, where the Coalition of Thenion has to fight against the Alchemist himself. So, I hope you will join me next week for this final of the Heart of Obsidian campaign for the first time, with the 4th faction. Until then, have fun gaming. Bye!